Hello crafty cuties! Today we're going to be making the tassel and putting it on our journal. And so grab your supplies and let's get going. You're going to need any type of yarn or trim, laces, thread, things like that. Anything that you want like that. You can also use fabric, and I think that these Dollar Tree scarves are amazing and will work really good for this. And then if you want to use any beads or buttons and things like that to decorate and make a charm with, grab that as well. I have my journal here so that we can actually go ahead and put it on. And then for tools, you're really just going to need a pair of scissors. If you have an awl, that would be nice for the part where we're going to put it on, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Let's get started, and I am going to be using also one of these, I think it's called like a book ring. I forget the name, but Dollar Tree has these in different sizes, and so I'm so excited that I was able to find them because sometimes, you know, different locations don't have them, but I have that. And go ahead and measure how long you want your tassel to be. And for me, let's see, I think I want mine to be pretty long. I'm gonna bring mine down almost about 3/4 of the way down. And so you're gonna double that for the size of all of your trims and things. So if you want it to go 6 inches down, then you'll want to cut pieces that are 12 inches, if that makes sense. And so I like to just make one measurement, and then I'll go ahead and cut just a bunch of the same size, and then I can get to putting it together and have all of the things ready to pull. And a lot of times I personally like mine, my pieces to be, I like to have some that are a little bit longer, a little bit shorter, and so I'll just use my guide and then start cutting to that size. So I don't usually use yarn, to be quite honest, for my tassels. I use a lot more fabric and laces in mine. But I honestly think this is going to look so cute, and I'm not sure why I haven't used yarn before. It's just really not something that I have in my stash. But Dollar Tree has so many of these different yarns that you're going to be able to make a really cute tassel. I'm just going to continue cutting these while my dog's eating loudly so you don't have to listen to that. Now I'm also going to incorporate a little bit of this twine here. For one, it's going to make it possible for us to put beads on here relatively easy, but also I personally like this color. It's white and yellow, and I just want my tassel to be kind of like happy and bright, and so I think that's gonna help with that, but it definitely is going to help make it possible for us to put the beads on easily. Some of the beads from Dollar Tree do have like a larger hole, and you probably could put them on thread, but it's gonna be a little bit of work to do that. So I'm not I'm not like, what am I trying to say? I'm not counting or keeping track of how many pieces I'm cutting of each. I'm just kind of cutting as many as I think I might need. And then I'll do a couple pieces of lace. I usually will reach for lace that's thinner, like this purple one. So I think I might go ahead and cut that lace, this lace in half. But I definitely think I'll add some purple. And since these are such bigger pieces, I'm not going to need that much of each one. So I'll go ahead and cut these in half. So I just folded my lace over a few times so that I could just cut it in half easily. And I gotta say, I'm using these scissors that are somewhat new to me, and they cut so good through lace and fabric. So if you guys see me using these on paper, yell at me. I gotta keep them good. Okay, I think I'm good here. I'm gonna go ahead now and cut a few strips of the fabric. Now I was realizing that this fabric has these little tassels on the end, and I think that would look so cute. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep that on. I'll just kind of see. So for this, I've tried ripping this fabric and it doesn't rip very easily. So I'm gonna just carefully be cutting pretty skinny strips, like 1/4 of an inch. And it doesn't have to be super straight, so don't worry about that. I'll just cut maybe like 4 strips of fabric, and I might make them a little bit shorter than the rest. Yeah, that's gonna look so cute with the tassel. Now that I've made a huge mess for myself, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. By the way, I have lots of tassel making videos on my channel, so if you wanna see a few different ways that I like to make tassels a really, really durable one, I'll have those linked below. But we're gonna get started, and I just like to use my hand for this method, and I'm just gonna kinda drape it over and try to kind of fold it in half. So I hope you can see that okay. And I just like to alternate, and whoops. It's going to be a little hard since I have them all tangled now, but I just like to kind of alternate them and just kind of grab from my pile here and just start placing them in my hand. And we can get the final placement of these messed with like at the end, so don't worry too much if you're not liking what it looks like. We can finalize everything as we go along. But if you are using the what do you call this kind of twine? If you're using this kind of twine in yours, definitely be sure to place a few pieces every so often. That way when you're adding the beads, you can kind of add beads throughout the tassel rather than just in one spot, if that makes sense. And I personally think that it looks better that way. And then like, I love these, so these tassels have kind of inspired me thinking tassels are actually quite easy to make, and we have more of these twines, and so I'm thinking that maybe we can make a few tassels for the sides of the book, or maybe like on a paper clip or something like that. So we'll see how many more videos. I'm not sure if you guys are like anxious for me to finish this book or what, but I kind of am, because it's starting to be a really long project, and while it's super fun, I feel like I'm kind of like ready for it to almost be done. So we'll definitely be binding it soon. That way we can get that out of the way, and then for those of us that want to continue decorating it, we can do that. Now just kind of keep in mind how thick you want yours to be, and then that way as you're adding, you can stop when you feel like it's going to be big enough. Let's see here. Now, if you can't find these little book rings, I'm going to try and show you one other way that we can place it on the journal as well. Okay, I think we're good here. Yep, I think this is definitely big enough now. Okay, so I'm liking that, and so now we're going to I'm just going to place this down carefully, kind of in a rainbow shape. I'm going to get these out of the way so I don't keep tangling them. And I'm going to take some more of this twine, but you could use like a thicker thread or something like that as well. And now what we're going to do is take our ring, and we're going to place this, we're going to open it up and place these on the ring. I'm going to try to get you guys in closer in just a sec, and close it. But if you do not have a ring, well I do, so I'll keep it here, but let me show you what you can do. It's gonna work just fine, is you can literally just make your own ring. Just, you're gonna just tie a little loop. I mean, I'm not showing you a close-up here because I'm certain that most of you know how to tie a knot. So you're literally just gonna tie a knot on your loop like that. And you're just going to use this right in place of your ring, and you'll just slip your slip all of your trims through this rather than the book ring. So I've actually decided really quick that I'm not going to use the book ring. I'm going to show you this other version, but again, you can do this either way. I've just realized that I kind of liked last time when I used without. And so you're going to go to your book now, and you're going to place your hole where you want it. I'm just estimating, I just want mine to be in the center, about 1/4 of an inch down. And if you are going to use the book ring, then definitely you'll want to keep your hole a little closer to the top, but not too close, because you'll want to be sure that your ring can go through and go all the way around. So I would need mine a little bit bigger. Hope that makes sense. I just want to show you what it looks like with the ring in. So it's really just going to be kind of like this, honestly. And I remember that being a little bit bulky. If you guys know, I usually use a ring fastener, and I like that because it helps this lay flat. There's probably other methods that you can do as well. But to be quite honest, if I were going to be using the book ring on this, I think I might actually go ahead and poke 2 holes. That way I can put this through both holes, and then it would definitely be able to lay flat like that, if you can see what I'm talking about. So I hope that makes sense. I just don't want to put 2 holes in mine since I'm not doing that method. But guys, this is, I think, going to be a little bit easier, honestly. So I'm actually going to make a little loop like this that's just a little bit bigger. And so I'm going to go, let's see. I know I don't have measurements, and that probably makes it a little hard for you guys, but I'm just going to do the same thing and make a loop here. But again, just a little bit bigger, because I want to be able to put it through that hole and around. So I'm going to double knot this. Okay, so let me give you a closer look at that. Okay, so then we're going to take this and we're going to place the whole thing. I'm squeezing it up. I'm like squeezing it together, I guess. And I might need to use my awl to push it through. In fact, I should do it from the inside. And so obviously you're gonna wanna do this before you bind the book. I mean, if you don't, it's fine, but it's gonna be much easier. So now, since I had this knot pretty big, it's not gonna be able to be pulled through. Now you can either keep it like this. I know I'm giving you lots of options, but there's just so many ways that you can do this. So you can either keep it like this, and that way you can just put your tassel right onto this. And so that's when you can decide if you wanted this to hang down less, then you can go ahead and adjust that by making your knot wherever you want it along that way so that it can hang down, you know, where you would like it. I'm gonna adjust mine probably at the end. The other thing you can do is pull this through and pull that through if you would rather have yours kind of go up and over the top here, and then you can just put your tassel on this portion. And I'm gonna do that right here, I think. So now what we're gonna do is come back to this, and now I'm going to pull my tassel all the way through. You could also just make your tassel, sorry, so many things, and just tie it onto this. Let's just do that. Okay, so we're gonna set this to the side now. This is what we're gonna attach our tassel to, but I'm gonna go ahead and take that first little loop that I made, and I'm actually just gonna go ahead and place this all the way through. So you can start whatever is easiest for you. I'm probably doing this in an odd way, but you'll see in a minute. And then you'll want to bring this up to the center. There we go. I knew I'd get it. And you can always, there's all kinds of like metal hardwares that you can use in place of this, but I'm just trying to use, you know, all of my Dollar Tree items. So here we go. So if you can see, this is what it looks like. We have all of our trims around that. Now we're gonna go ahead and take some more. I'm not gonna measure, but I want a pretty long piece. And I like to go ahead and start by placing this up at like the neck of my tassel. And I'm gonna tie a knot here, pretty good. I'll do like a double knot. And then you can keep it like this if you want and trim yours, but I actually like the look of going around quite a bit. And then I feel like this also kind of secures everything, but I just personally like the look. To me, this is like what a classic tassel looks like. And I go around just until I feel happy with it. And then I'll take this end, and I'll take the first end that we started with, and I will do another double knot. You can hide this in here or whatever you want. You can go around this with some lace now if you want to make it look different. If you don't like how it looks, you can just basically simply, you know, glue on some lace around if you want. But I think I'll do that actually. I don't usually do that, but I actually liked how that looked. So I'm gonna take some glue and glue that on. I think that hot glue would work a lot better. But for right now, I'm just going to go like that. Just try to have it line up right where it needs to be. Yeah, I used to do this with my tassels, like kind of hide this middle part, but then I started just having like the twine show, but I forgot that I really liked that. Okay, that looks so cute. Okay, now we can decorate. Now, this isn't going to be a separate charm. You can totally make a separate charm if you want, but I'm just going to take some of these beads. I definitely think that these beads are kind of playful, kind of kid-like, I guess, but I think they're also really cute. There are some little stars and hearts, and I'm just gonna have fun with it and zoom you in so that you can actually see me. And what I do is I usually just put a couple beads on one little strand here. Can definitely take some concentration. My daughter loves helping me with this. And then I will tie a knot at the bottom. Some of the holes on these beads are quite big, and when it is, I'll actually tie this like around the last bead. But when you do that, then they can't move around freely, and I personally love the noise of beads clinking around, so I would rather do it this way. Buttons are another cute little thing that you can add, and I just realized that I forgot to get buttons. Dollar Tree definitely has all kinds of button packs. So I'm going to use just a couple of my other buttons. Maybe not that one, but the holes are too small in that one. But oh yeah, these little roses are also gorgeous. So with these roses, I just put it through both little holes and then tie it off. They're definitely a little bit bulkier, but for me with a tassel, I'm fine with it being a little bulkier because it's going to be on the outside. Now, if you're not using a book ring, it is going to be a little bit harder for you to remove these tassels, so keep that in mind. That is one benefit to using the book rings. And this is definitely the fun part, so have fun. You can, create patterns out of the colors, or I'm sure you can think of all kinds of other types of things that you can put on just for some added cuteness. That's not the word I was looking for. I think I'm just going to add a few more here, and then I might look for some buttons like I was mentioning. Okay guys, I'm all done. I've added all of the beads I want to. I love how this turned out. I think it's so fun and so cute, playful, everything, all of the above. Okay, now we can go ahead and attach it, and if you want, it might be easier to attach yours after you actually bind in the pages, but definitely make sure to do this part on the book before you bind it, just for the easiest way. But let me show you how I will attach it, and then I'll probably take it back off before. So I realized that instead of doing this loop now or before, it's easy enough to undo though. I'm going to undo the little loop that I made, and I will go ahead and place this loop. I'm going to take that and go through. So I'm going to take this and go through the loop on the tassel, and then I'm going to come back around and pull that. And then this is where you can totally adjust how far you want it to be hanging down by just kind of playing around and tying a knot tighter if you need. There we go, guys. Okay.